Hey guys, it's yours truly with another how-to video. So this is going to be for those of you that have Athearn Blue boxes and you don't like the old drive system. I basically wanted to do this for years. This is an Athearn ready to roll F59 F59PHI. Sorry. It's from the first run of when Athearn brought them out. And as you guys are looking at this, you're like, oh my god, what is this? It's been repowered with a Kato F7 drive. And I did this on Thursday, I believe. It took me, I would say, maybe about 3 hours to do with the tools that I have. So you will need a Dremel tool with this attachment, or if you don't have one, I recommend getting a jeweler's saw and actually cutting the cast metal. It's actually better if you do it that way, and it's a lot less messy. And then you need a drill bit like this, if I can show you. I don't know what diameter that is, but you need it to drill out the holes for... No, that's too big. Where's the other one? I can't find it. I think it's... Yeah, I can't find it. But anyway, basically, it's really easy to install this, and you don't need to modify the Kato trucks in any way, shape, or form at all. It does run, and it's really, really quiet. Let me just take it over to the track and show you guys. So it is, fully equipped with, it's the lights work and everything, and super quiet. So yeah, no more noise from the gears. Now you do have to extend the drive shafts. So you do actually have to extend them. And where is the styrene that I used? Give me 1 second, alright? Okay, so this is the styrene tube that you will need to extend the drive shafts. And obviously the extension for the front is a lot shorter than the extension for the rear. I basically just eyeballed it and test fitted it, and then once I had it all test fitted, I basically used, I didn't use Zap-A-Gap glue, I used this Tester's super glue, which actually has like a brush, and that gives you a little bit of time to adjust anything accordingly. Normally I use Zap-A-Gap glue, but sometimes when you're doing drive shafts, it dries too quickly, and then you're pretty much screwed if you try to take it apart, whereas with that, the setting time is a little bit lesser. But once you do all that, everything pretty much fits like a glove, as you can see. The truck details. So the truck details will actually go to the Kato trucks from the Athearn side frames. These are some type of shock absorbers here. The drop steps, you kind of have to eyeball them, which is what I did, and then you drill out the holes accordingly for them on both sides, and then it lines up with the steps on the locomotive. I basically had the locomotive shell on, and then I just placed it here and then just eyeballed it and then drilled out where the holes were on both sides. But yeah, once you drill out the holes for these details, also you have to file the roller bearing, this here. So this here has to be flat, like where that raised section is, that has to be flat in order for this to fit. But pretty much the details from the Athearn truck will swap to the Kato truck, and you don't have to do anything to the bolster on the Kato truck. you do actually have to square off the front of the bolster here and the rear of the bolster here to mimic the F7 frame. And that's pretty much it. And I'm actually going to show this to you guys because I have to take this apart anyway, because one, the wire is getting pinched against this side here and against this side here, because I kind of hastily put this together because I wanted to see if it would actually work, and it did, but it's getting pinched here. I also have to redo the front here, so where I scribed that line I have to cut more, sand more down, and over here as well. But the front truck actually doesn't really have that issue. But as you guys could see on the test truck, it actually does turn and everything. There's no binding. It just, the wire gets a little bit pinched over here and over here. So I'm going to widen this. If you have a jeweler's saw, you can actually just square it off from the back of the bolster here all the way to the back of the frame on both sides here. And I wouldn't square it out here. I would probably just stop right there, right here, and then cut it back to the bolster there and square it off. But that's why I would recommend using a jeweler's saw, like it's basically a hand saw, or if you have one of those modeling, those like mini table saws, and you wanted to do it that way, you could. But yeah, so I got to disassemble this anyway because I have to do the stripping of the wires, because this is getting a Tsunami 2 decoder with a Bowser Sugar Cube speaker. So I have to take it apart anyway, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what the frame looks like without everything on it. So yeah, be right back. Okay, I took the drive shafts out. So this is the rear one, and that's the front one. I unfortunately couldn't find my ruler, which sucks because that would have been a good thing to have, but apparently my ruler has gone off to the ether somewhere, and even my backup ruler has decided to take a MIA. So yeah, I'm pretty much up the creek without a paddle on that one. I will try to find it, and then if I do, I will have the measurement for this one and this one popping up on the bottom of your screen. So I hope and pray I find it. Otherwise, that's not going to be helpful to you guys. But moving on. Now that I got the gear towers off, I'm going to take the front truck off so you guys can see. So that is how you make this Kato truck work. So you have to see how that little bump is there? On Athearn trucks, that's on both sides. But on the Kato frame, it's only on one side. Well, on the Kato frame, this would all be filled in with a piece of metal. But what you have to do to get the Kato truck to fit, to clear the gear tower, is to get rid of that on this end. And the bolsters are pretty much the same. I'm using washers on the back of that one because the little, what do they call, bolster nubs, I accidentally cut those off with an X-Acto knife, and that's not what you're supposed to do. So I had to shim the rear truck up with spacers, but the bolster hole from the Kato truck to the Athearn frame, it's a drop-in fit, so you don't have to do anything to the Kato truck at all. That was just me not knowing at the time. I was trying to get it to fit, and then when I realized with this truck I didn't need to do that, it was too late. But luckily I had some washers, and that gave me the right spacing, and the truck works perfectly fine. I will probably get another one just to eliminate that, but for now I will be running it that way. But that's how much I have to cut off where those lines are. But if you have a jeweler's saw, you can box out the frame from this point on back on both sides. That way you have all this cleared out, and your frame is still going to be strong over here. And then you would do the same thing to the front here. Let me actually just take the front off and show you. So, see these little tabs, not tabs, but little bumps right here? That's what I cut off on this truck here, and I shouldn't have. So if you just leave those on there, because that's what you need for us to work. Otherwise, you had to put washers under it like this one. But you don't need to do any modifications to the Kato truck at all. Like, no mechanical modifications to the bolster hole, because the bolster hole here will fit the Athearn Blue box frame. So just to let you guys know that. Now I will be taking out the motor, which is pretty much just, you just unscrew that, and then the frame will be completely bare, and then I will get this cleaned up and hopefully reassembled, and it will have Sound and DCC in it. But let me flip it over. But there's the underside right there, and that's the bolster pin for the frame. So you can repower these with Kato motors. And actually, to be honest with you, because it's got the Kato drive, it's going to have slower speed operation, it's going to be quieter, it is quieter, and it's going to have far superior pulling power because it's Kato. So that's why I did it. So I probably will do another video with actually showing how this is done with another unit like this. But you can use this with pretty much any Athearn Blue box, like Jeep 38, Jeep 38-2, even the F7 units. The Blue box F7s will accept the Kato trucks as well, because they all use the same bolster. I believe even the Jeep 35s, the old Jeep 35s, the Jeep 7s, the Jeep 9s will use it. You can't use these obviously on the SW units. You can't do that, but on the F7s, the Jeeps, Jeep 35s, Jeep 38-2s, Jeep 38s, you can use this conversion to make your Athearn Blue box up to date with Kato stuff. Now, as far as 6-axle units, I don't think you can do that with per se, and then again, I haven't tried that yet. But for the 4-axle units, you can actually do this conversion. Thing is, you'd have to use a donor unit, which is what I did. I used a brand new donor unit, but it didn't have the headlight lenses, so it wasn't going to be used anyway. So I just used a donor F7A and put it in here. But I will be wiring this up with DCC and sound. Now, if you didn't want to wire it up with DCC and sound, you can just leave the factory board in here as it is from Stewart and just run it like that if you didn't want to put DCC in it. But I'm putting DCC and sound in it, so this is going to be eliminated. The board will actually fit here, and I can just use the original screws for it to keep the board in place. Speaker's going to go right around in here somewhere, so I got to figure out what I can use to mount it here. I still haven't figured that out, but worst case scenario, I have to mount it under the shell, which is fine, because there's obviously nowhere to put it here. So I will figure that out when I cross that bridge. But yeah, let me get this done and cleaned up, and then the next scene will be with the bare frame with these notched out a little bit nicer, hopefully. And then it'll be getting the sound decoder and everything, and then I'll put it back together and we'll test it out. Okay guys, I'm back and I'm in the process of soldering everything up. So basically what I did is I used, I extended the factory wires here, and I left the original clasps on, and I just soldered these extensions on to it. And then I'm going to use heat shrink tubing around these. That way that's all insulated. You could technically cut these off, but I don't do that anymore, because if you screw up, then you make your wires a lot shorter. So I'm not doing that. This is actually a lot better. So I'm going to put heat shrink tubing on this. The motor is already wired up to the decoder. So that's pretty much ready to go. All I have to do now is just install it. That's gonna fit in there perfectly. But yeah, heat shrink tubing is next, and then I'll get these wired up, and then I'll be wiring the speaker. So the speaker, I use the Bowser Sugar Cube speakers because they sound the best. I know there's speakers out there that probably sound better, but I use the Bowser ones. Speaker wire is actually going to be a perfect length, so it's going to sit around here, like around here. So it's actually going to fit. So yeah, the speaker's going to sit in here. I might even be able to squeeze it in. No, I can't squeeze it in like that, can I? That would be pretty cool if I could just mount it right here like that. Getting ideas. But if not, I'll mount it like this. Alright, heat shrink tubing is on both trucks. So I should be almost ready to wire this thing up. I must note that for the one screw that goes here, let me show you. Take this out, flip this over. So the one screw that goes here, you do have to make this hole just a little bit wider with the Dremel tool. And, you know, not by much. You just use the contour of this opening and let the tool follow it around. You don't have to make it that much bigger, but big enough that the screw can be easily removed in and out. And then I just wanted to update you with this part. I did mill out these areas a little bit more. The back here is still not like I want it to be, but I tested the trucks out and they swing great. There's no tightness against here or here on both ends, so that's all been taken care of. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now I just got to put everything together, and yeah, this will be done. This engine will have sound and DCC. The wires, I clip these plugs off, and then I just strip them, and then I just just solder them straight to the board right there. So I'm gonna do that last. Yeah, I'm gonna do that last. So I'll be right back. So here is the front drive shaft, and there's the measurement for you right there. So yeah, so that's the front drive shaft there, and then I'll show you the rear one next. So here's the rear drive shaft, which if you look, it's just a little over an inch long. So that's basically the truck spacing there. So those are the measurements for you guys right there when you do the modification. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm getting ready to install everything. Hopefully, it'll go smoothly. Fingers crossed. Okay, I got everything loosely mocked up. Nothing is soldered here. Nothing is soldered there. I'm probably going to redo these wires here, like extend them because they are way too short. So I have to do that. I will definitely do that because otherwise it's going to be an issue. So I'm going to redo that, but first I need to test to make sure that excuse me, this works. So we're going to go over to the test track. And what I usually do with DCC engines, engines that I convert to DCC, is I take another engine that's DCC and sound equipped, and I put them on the same track, and I see if they run the same direction. And basically, if they run the same direction, it means I wired the decoder correctly. And if I didn't, it means I got to switch the wires around. Okay. So forward. I will change the sound file to the right one, but let's see if they go the same way. And that is a no, ladies and gentlemen. So I gotta rewire this because I flipped the wires. So yeah, I gotta flip the wires. Not a big deal, because it's in forward. So this is what happens when you wire the decoder backwards. So just to let you guys know, the second unit is going the right way. This one is going the wrong way. So when I hit reverse, this one's going the right way, that one's going the wrong way. So that's an easy way to tell that you wired the decoder wrong. So I'm going to go and fix that right now. Alright, this is take 2. Alright, now I can finish the unit. Moment of truth, guys. Well, guys, that is how you repower an Athearn ready to roll F59PHI and put Sound and DCC in it. I actually mounted the speaker right here, upside down, under the underside of the shell. So it's actually held up here with double-sided stick tape. But everything's snug, and it works. So yeah, this was a fun project, and I hope this helps you guys with your Athearn Blue Box projects. and your older F69 units, because doing this conversion, you save yourself a little bit of money. I mean, in my opinion, you do. Or if you don't think that, that's fine. You can still buy the newer engines, but I think with the superior drive system that you get with Kato, you can't beat it. I mean, yeah, you're spending maybe, I paid 85 bucks for the Stewart unit. I think you can find them a little bit cheaper online depending on who you buy it from. So that's like, you know, I spent 85 and then $100 for the decoder. So that's like maybe 200 bucks right there, as opposed to paying almost 300 for a new F69. But then you get the superior drive system with the Kato. But it's really all about preference. I mean, yeah, I mean, I wanted to do this project, so that's why I shared it with you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be painting the trucks silver to match the rest of the locomotive, and it will be in service. I will get LED lights installed in it eventually, but for now, I'm just glad that it's done. So you guys be cool. God bless, and I will see you later. Bye, y'all.